Yeah. I feel more engaged on Facebook for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very much so.
All right, you guys. Well, welcome. I am recording this, so if anybody wants a copy of it, or if you're watching it back, welcome. But we wanted to just do a power hour tonight. I know it's the day after Christmas, and a lot of people are still doing stuff with their families. But I think that I think it will just help you guys and us too. Like Megan said, you know, we've kind of been checked out for the past couple of days. With the holidays, but it is just like on my heart. Like, I just know I can remember so many Christmases in the past and like just waiting, kind of myself sitting there just waiting for New Year's to come around so I could start something or figure out what I was going to do. And, you know, so many people are probably sitting at home on social media tonight, just scrolling through Facebook and thinking the same thing. And I mean, like, why not put our message and our offer of help out there to help people get started? Because the simple fact is that, you know, if people don't join us in a challenge group or with a Beachbody on Demand and Shakeology or something, they're going to go spend money somewhere else. That's just like the truth. They're either going to join a gym or they're going to sign up for Thrive or something because somebody else is posting about it. So I wanted to really just encourage you guys, like my team, and then we just pulled our teams together to do a live power hour to help walk you guys through what we do in our power hour. Some of you guys may be new coaches, some of you guys may be older coaches. It doesn't matter, but we're just basically, I think Bianca's going to hop on too, hopefully, if any of you are Bianca's coaches, and we are just going to take you through what we do daily in our power hours. So I've got slides that I'm going to share, but this is small and very informal for sure. But I do want to make it as quick as possible because, you know, like my kids are still up watching TV too. But you know, just stop us. If you have questions, please stop because this is how I learn the best as a coach. But for those of you who don't know me, I am Rachel Mitchell. I'm a 3-star Downing coach. I've been a coach for a little over 3 years, and I'm a consistent Success Club earner, and I just attribute it to the fact that I do this every single day. So, Megan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Maegan Blinka. I have been a coach for 3.5 years. I am a 5-star, 2-time, hopefully 3-time elite coach. I also am a mom. My kids just got tucked into bed. My husband's on watch to make sure they don't come hollering back out of their rooms. But I too, like Rachel, like I have been an SC10, I think it's 45 months now that I've hit Success Club 10. And I spend pretty much every Sunday through Thursday night in this office once my kids go to bed, and at some point on Friday, and at some point on Saturday, and at some point through the day. And honestly, it's been pockets of time over 3.5, almost 4 years now, that has allowed me to build the team and the, you know, the stability with the income and the business side of it all. But it's consistency above anything else.
Okay. Yes, definitely. And I learned a lot from Megan. I just have to throw that out there. Like, I've learned so much from Megan in like the past 2 months. It's incredible. But okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
So we are just literally going to tell you exactly what we do. And so just first of all, these are actually some slides that Bianca created, and she did a really good job with them. So I'm just gonna share with you from here and share my take on them. But some tips for success. One, it starts with you. This coaching business is 110% a mindset business. Like, it is something, you know, for the first year, I definitely showed up and did my power hour every day, but I did not view this as something long-term that was going to work for me. Like, I just kind of considered it, I'm going to run out of people to talk to eventually. I'm not going to have anybody to sign up for a challenge pack. I'm going to post my story. I'm going to run a challenge group every month, you know, but when I run out of people to talk to, like, I'm probably just going to quit, right? And that's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I'm sure that some of you guys are probably thinking the same thing. But what I quickly realized was that all these things that my coach was teaching me to do, just the consistency and building momentum, like we talk about in the compound effect, all that stuff like really works, you know? And so like I kept finding myself just putting my story out there every single day, doing my power hour. Some days I would invite one person, some days I would invite 10 people, but like I consistently was hitting Success Club. And then I was consistently hitting higher numbers. And I was consistently converting people from challengers to coaches, and my business was growing, albeit small, it was growing. And so it is a mindset thing. What you tell yourself will come true. So if you're telling yourself that you can't do this, there's nobody out there to help, like nobody cares what you say, you know, if I invite somebody, they're probably just not going to respond, then that's probably truth for you. But if you're telling yourself there is one person out there today that needs to hear my story, there are people out there just like me who would benefit from a challenge group. I can hit Success Club. I can rank advanced. Then it's going to come true. Okay. And so it's a mindset issue. And so like when you sit down to do your power hour, like I definitely encourage you, you know, like read your personal development. If you're a person of faith like myself, like read your devotion, like pray over your business, like listen to music that's going to pump you up and get your mind set ready for success, because the people can tell, even though we're doing this through social media, usually like through text on our phones or whatever, people can really sense your enthusiasm or your lack of enthusiasm. So just assuming and talking to people like from the gate, like straight out of the gate, like you assume that they're going to sign up, it really does make a difference in conversions from conversations to customers. Okay. And so whenever I am talking to people, when I'm looking for people to talk to, even when I'm crafting a post on social media, like I am thinking about what problems could this person potentially face. You know, like I told my team this morning, I made a post of my workout selfie this morning. I was talking to myself like 3 or 4 years ago. I was that girl that started and stopped all the time. I was that girl who really didn't believe in myself, who didn't think that I could do hard things, or I didn't want to do hard things really. Like I just used excuses a lot. And so I talked to myself in my challenge group posts or in my daily posts on social media, and people connect to that. People are like, you know, what you said this morning, just really like, that's me. Like I'm a quitter. Like I'll do things for 3 weeks and then I quit, you know? And so the more you share of yourself just in your public posts, in what you're sharing, your story on social media, the more that people are going to connect with you and trust you in those private conversations. So that's really important. But whenever I talk to people one-on-one, like I said, I do assume that they're just going to sign up. I ask lots of questions. So there's nothing worse. Who gets those like just form invites from Rodan Fields people or from Thrive people or from all the other stuff, you know, like those people have never asked me one personal thing at all. They're just always like, hey, I've got this product. Do you want to buy it? Like that's what we don't want to be. We want to start conversations with people. And that happens, we build trust in relationships by asking lots of questions. I'm going to share some examples in just a little bit. Be attentive, you know, like think about what problems people might face. If somebody tells you, you know, like, oh, you know, like I've just been really going through a hard time this last year. Like I lost a family member, or my marriage is struggling and I just find myself eating food. Like I'm not going to say, although this is kind of my personality naturally, I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, well, I've got this challenge pack that'll really work for you and you'll lose weight, and you know, just jump straight into the sale. You know, you want to ask questions, you want to be attentive, you want to nurture that relationship by really communicating with people and just, you know, listening. You know, there's nothing better than having somebody to listen to you and kind of relate to whatever problems people are having. And that's how I build relationships too. Obviously put people first. Like we cannot help people if people are not our first priority. And so that's part of my mission. That's part of my motivation to sit down and invite people, or to craft that challenge group post that I put out on social media. And definitely take yourself out of the equation. Like if you're sitting there and the whole time, like you're in this conversation with someone, or you're thinking about somebody to invite and you're worried what they think about you, or if you're going to sound salesy, or if you're going to offend someone, like this is really not about you. Inviting people, running challenge groups is just about helping the other person. And we can't do that if we're so consumed with, I can't do that if I'm so consumed with worrying about what someone's going to think about me. If I know my motivation is pure and my motivation is to help other people, then that's going to come through in my conversations. Okay. So let's just jump straight into invitation.
I'm going to add something to that, Rachel.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I had someone the other day who was going to join a challenge group, and she was saying how her mom, like, she got back to me. She's like, sorry, I've been so, scattered. She's like, her mom was actually on hospice. She was fighting cancer. And she's like, it's just so hard. She doesn't eat anything. And it's just, and like, she went on this thing, and I was like, look, I'm not trying to sell you on a challenge pack, but you're telling me your mom's not eating, that she's not getting any nutrition. If all she can do is drink a shake, this might be something that would work for her. Whether you share a bag, whether you buy it just for her to try, like, that could be a solution for her. So like, thinking back to that whole, like, we have solutions for like a bajillion things beyond just weight loss. And it's sometimes you have to be like a little bit bold to come back and say, then I said, I'm not trying to sell you on something, but I've had people who have had similar circumstances. Like, I have a great aunt who's 85 who drinks Shakeology because she had a procedure done where she could only drink her food for like X amount of days. And she asked my grandma what that stuff was and where she was getting it. And then my great aunt bought it. Like, my grandma's sister is a discount coach of mine. So like, just thinking about those other types of scenarios that you can then give as examples to other people that you're talking to, and being able to like be bold enough and confident enough in what you have, that you have that solution, not a sale, but a solution for somebody.
That's good. I love that. Not a sale. That's where we offer solutions. That's awesome. And yeah, like if you had been so worried about sounding salesy, then you probably would not have offered that. And I think that's really important. And that you totally took yourself out of that equation. And like, honestly, guys, the worst that people can do is say no to us. I mean, it's very rare. It's very rare. I've not had like negative, not a lot of negative feedback on what I do as a coach. There has been one or two people that have said things to me or about me, but not anything that has just like ruined my life, and so like, if we take ourselves out of it and we just really focus on offering the solution, because I personally would not be a coach if this had not changed my life. I would not be a coach if I had not joined the challenge group and tried Shakeology and done these workout programs, and they had done what I needed them to do. So, I'm thankful that someone invited me every single day to a challenge group. And somebody a long time ago, when I was a newer coach, told me, before you sit down to do your power hour, like, think about, like, what if somebody came to your house, took away your Shakeology, took away your workout programs, you're now your Beachbody on Demand, took you out of challenge groups and that accountability, like, what would your life be like? And I can easily look back and say, like, my life would be so different. Like, I would just, there would be this huge piece missing from what it was a solution, plain and simple, to something that was wrong that I could I did not have control over on my own. So, like, I get excited to sit down and offer this as a solution to people. And that's what I think about whenever I sit down to do my invitations. And like I said, people tell me no all day, every day. And that's okay, because I'm just going to keep telling my story. I'm going to keep helping the people that want to be helped right now. And so many other people come back around. Looking at invitations. So we have to be like, guys, if you're a coach and you have business goals, whether you are walking, running, jogging, it doesn't matter. You have to be inviting people to your challenge groups, and numbers do matter. Like I said, like, I invite a lot in my posts for sure. We should be doing that. Like, I told my coaches this week, like, I will put an invitation in my public post every single day to a challenge group, because I have my New Year's boot camp that starts the 1st. I have 80-day obsession that starts after that. And like I said, people are scrolling, and people are sitting at home on Christmas vacation scrolling through Facebook and thinking about all the food that they just ate over the holidays. I mean, like, I am, and I'm a coach, and I didn't even go crazy. And I feel horrible about, just like, my body is not kind to me when I eat that way. And, like, there are so many people. And again, I think back to, who was Rachel like 4 years ago? Like, I was the girl that would sit there and eat whatever I wanted to eat. And I would feel really horrible 3 or 4 days later. And I just regret all the food and looking for that New Year solution. So that is the person that I'm talking to. And so numbers do matter. Like if you want to hit Success Club, if you're at Success Club 0, Success Club 4, you want to be there, you've got to be inviting people. And so we're going to sit down. I'm going to show you what I do as a coach when I sit down to invite. And I'm actually going to share some of my sample invites in the chat section of this call. So you guys can copy those and use them. Megan can share hers. If you have some good ones, share those. But I really, when I sit down to invite people, I look at people first who are following my posts. So like if I'm adding people every single day, then I have new eyes on my posts. And I just you should consistently, if you're posting, you're building a following. And those people, even though a lot of people are not ever going to like or comment, but they'll come around later, you do have those people that are liking your posts, maybe commenting on your posts. They may not be doing it every day, but I will go back and I'll look through my social media feed through the last 3 or 4 weeks, even up to a week, and just see who is consistently liking. And I will send a message that goes something like this. It'll say, let me try to find my chat bar here. It'll say something like, hey girl, thank you. This is the one I send the most often. Thank you so much for the love on my posts. I hope they inspire you in some way. Let's see. Are you working toward any fitness goals? Sorry, right now yourself. Okay, and that's simple. That's it. Like that is how I start a conversation with people I know are looking at my posts, I know are following me. And I do the same thing on Instagram. Like Instagram, if you're using Instagram and hashtags, you have followers. I do this with my stories. I'll go back and I'll look through who is looking at my stories, and it looks a little, the message looks a little different. It just says, thank you so much for following my stories. I hope that they inspire you in some way. Again, I just changed the wording a little bit. It's Christmas time. Like it's Christmas time. Go scroll through your social media feed and look at people's pictures. And I start a lot of conversations that way. I think that we're going to talk about connections a little bit more. But this is invitations. So this is what I do. Like I'll just send a message. And if you create an event, we're not going to go into all that tonight, but if you create an event page on social media, if you start to invite people that way, it's a super easy way to invite those people that maybe you've talked to in the past or that you've been connecting with, or people that are just consistently following you. One of the ways that I invite people very regularly is, let's see, let me find it. Here's another example of one that I will send for an invite to an event page. So I think, like, I swear by event pages. I don't know how many of you guys create event pages. Do I use those? Like I use those a lot now. We did not have those as whenever I was a new coach, and so it was always just like it was either cold invites or it was people that I was connecting with on a regular basis that I would invite to challenge groups. And for me personally, I do not do a lot of cold invites anymore. Like I cannot think of the last time that I sent a cold invite. So whenever Megan or whoever it is going to talk about that in a minute. Like it's really important to build those connections and just be building relationships every single day. And every day I am turning those connections and those relationships into a challenge group invite. And I simply say something like, hey, Laura, like I know we've been talking about your kids' outfits that you got last month, but I was creating my challenge group, my boot camp for this month, and your name just automatically came to mind. I know that you're a busy mom and that you have a lot going on, but I remember feeling that way, and I had these health and fitness goals that I couldn't reach, and I didn't know how to reach. And then I found something that really worked for me. Are you working towards any health and fitness goals yourself? Okay. And I usually pretty much just end it that way. Like, are you working towards any health and fitness goals yourself? And that, like 9 times out of 10, people are going to say, yes, like I am. I'm doing this, or I want to lose 10 pounds, or you know, like I just want to tone up, like my eating has gotten out of control. That one question will open up the floodgates for people to tell you about themselves and what their goals are for their health and fitness. Okay. And so you've noticed I haven't said like I'm a Beachbody coach, like I work out at home, I drink Shakeology, like I haven't said anything like that. I'm just connecting with them. I'm saying thank you for something, and then I'm asking them about their personal goals. And you know, some people, I mean, honestly, I don't even think that people have ever said, no, leave me alone, or no, are you trying to sell me something, or no, how much does this cost? You know, like, cause I don't go there. I start with just a simple question. I let them respond, and then I decide how to progress. Okay. And if they say yes, if they say, you know, like I've been doing this a lot on Instagram lately. I have a lot of people that are saying, yes, I really want to do something at the new year, or yes, I've tried, but I've just gotten off track, or something like that. That's kind of the typical response. And I relate to what they say. So if they say, you know, I'm really struggling right now, I've tried so many things, and I just need to lose 20 pounds, I will relate to what they say. I'll just build that relationship, and I will share my own experience. And I'll say something like, gosh, I know, like I kind of yo-yo dieted for years. It was really hard for me to stick with something. But what do you think what is your biggest struggle? Like what keeps you from hitting that goal? And I'll ask another question. And I really don't get into anything challenge group related or Beachbody related, and for quite a few questions. And this conversation may go on for a day or two. Some people like will commit to a challenge group the same day, but typically a conversation will go on for a few days, even weeks, because I spend so much time really helping them connect with what their why is and what they want to do with their health and fitness. Okay. And so that's a big part of what I do is I share my experience. I relate to their problems, and I don't give a ton of information with each message that I send. So I definitely, once I connect with them and I figure out if they have any health and fitness goals, I will ask them questions. You know, like how much time do you have to commit to a workout? What type of workout do you enjoy the most? Or what has worked for you in the past? Do you like cardio? Do you like weights? Do you like yoga? And so I'm just building that relationship and helping them figure out, hey, maybe I could do this. And so I connect with them in that way. And then I really typically ask them this question. And Robbie Carter gave me this question. And it is, if you could do anything in your health and fitness, where do you see yourself in 3 months? And I don't say a year. I don't say like 6 months. I don't say, you know, like by next year at Christmas. Like I just say, where do you see yourself in 3 months? Because that's kind of a reasonable goal to shoot for. And typically people are like, oh, I would really like to be in those pants that I wore last year, or I really want to get ready for this vacation that we have coming up in March. So I'd like to lose like 10 pounds. And people come back with a very reasonable goal that they could achieve. And I always say something like, you could totally do that. Like you could definitely do that. And I want to help you reach that goal. And then I ask them, can I explain to you what I do as a coach and how my boot camps work? And people at that point are always like, yes, absolutely. Okay. And so then I send them my challenge group invitation, or I might invite them to watch a video. I don't do that as much now because we have Beachbody on Demand. I typically just tell them, like, I'll pair you up with a workout program that works for you that you can do from home. And I will send them my challenge group description, which is a little bit lengthy, but I don't mind to share with you guys if you want it. But it basically just breaks it down and says, like, we're going to meal plan. We're going to work each other accountable. We're going to drink Shakeology. I tell them a little bit about Shakeology. And if anybody follows me, they know I drink Shakeology. So, you know, that does a lot for my credibility when I get to that point in my conversation. So if you're not posting about Shakeology, like you definitely need to be doing that and sharing about that in your stories and your social media posts. Okay. And so at that point, you know, when I built the relationship, I've helped them connect with the reason that they want to get healthy and fit. I've kind of helped them set a goal without them really knowing it. And then I explain the challenge group. And at that point, typically people are like, okay, yes, that sounds awesome. What do I do? How much does it cost? What happens next? You know? And so then I just tell them, okay, so the tools that you need for the challenge group are your access to your workouts. You can get access online and have a year membership for like $8 a month. And you also you need your Shakeology, which is meal replacement. So you're going to buy 30 meals all at one time, and portion containers that are going to help us meal plan. And so I break it down that way, and I tell them it's $160. Again, I assume that they're going to sign up. I say, I just need to know what flavor of Shakeology you want to start with. I'll get you the link to sign up, and we'll get started on January 1st. And so that is how my conversation flows, and they typically all flow that way. So that's really like my system for inviting. What questions do you guys have? Questions, or Megan, do you do it any differently? Is there anything that you say that maybe I didn't say?
No, I'm very, very similar. I think the biggest thing that hopefully people realize is that it's a very long process. And then it's that conversations that are building over time. I know in November, I forget what I had. It was either October or November, one of the months where I had like somewhere in the teens with SC points, and not a single person that ordered that month was somebody I talked to that month. They were all people who started conversations 1, 2, 3, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years prior, that were coming back around. And I think it's that they know that I'm not going to be going anywhere. So when they are eventually ready, they do come back to me. So it's talking to a lot of people. My invites are very similar. I copy a couple of them into the chat bar, but I look at who's looking at my stuff, and I leverage who clicks going to one of my events. Hey, you said you were interested. And I had a girl the other day, she's like, oh, I don't even know. I must have been in my, feed. I didn't even know what it was. Like, yes, you'll get those, but some people are like, yeah, I am interested. And I've had a ton of people lately, like a lot of my 80-day obsession people, they're all people who their coach has quit. They're well aware of what 80-day obsession is. They're well aware of what Shakeology is. They understand it. Their coach quit. So a lot of them are like they're just observing at this point. Like they're doing 80 or a little obsessed. And that's where like most of my challenge packs came from this month. They were all people who came back, who saw me on Instagram. Like, I've been following you for a while, and I already have this or that. So I'm like, obviously pushing the performance line with those people, but they see my consistency. So when they're looking for somebody who can depend on, that's going to lead a challenge group that they're going to get results from, they're coming back. But as far as the verbiage and language and stuff, I feel like it's very similar to yours, Rachel. And a very lengthy process, start to finish, for sure.
It is a very lengthy process. And I think that's where a lot of coaches just get, hey, Carrie, I'm sorry to say this, but would you post in our Power Hour event? People are having trouble getting on. I don't know what it is. Will you post in there? Sorry. I feel bad I didn't see that. Yeah. So that's it. And, I can't say this enough. Like, I feel like a lot of coaches too, will come out the gate and, posting that sweaty selfie or whatever is so hard. And posting a challenge group is really difficult for people. And, you've got to be inviting through your posts. Like, I think that, I was that coach for like 2 years that would post like one challenge group post a week. And now I post one like every single day, but I do it in a way that it's not just a challenge group post. Like, I'm really trying to teach my team, like, I'm taking like just everyday life. Like, I can turn a post about washing the dirty dishes into a challenge group post, honestly. And it's that daily life that I'm walking through that's happening. That is what people are interested in most. And then the fact that, I am a busy mom. I do work full time. I have crazy kids. We have sports and events, but I am still, I'm still showing up and making my health a priority because I have these 30-minute workouts, because I have Shakeology that I just mix and run out the door, because I have this team of accountability, that's just really works for me. And so, if I could encourage you, if you could just practice that, and it does take practice, but turn daily life posts into a challenge group post. Okay. And you're welcome to go read mine. I know Megan does it too. But just share what you're doing every single day. And that's what people get on social media for, so, let's see. So Megan's Bianca's not here. I don't know where she's at. But I can just keep rolling on through.
I was gonna say I can jump on. There were 2 more that she was gonna do. Do you want to do the first one? I'll do the second one,
Yeah.
and I'll just close it out.
Do you guys have any questions before we move on? I feel so bad about my team. Did you get it posted, Carrie? Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Let me move on. Forming. Okay, so I kind of did talk about this a little bit already, but forming. This is honestly like my favorite part about what I do as a coach, and I could get caught up in this part for like my whole power hour. But I love to connect with new people. I love to like learn about people. I love to build that relationship, and I didn't always, like in the beginning, it was really hard for me to kind of connect with people, because honestly, it may not seem that way, but that's not really my personality. Like I'll have my I have my niche of people that I feel tight with and I trust them, and that's kind of my comfort zone. But now this has really gotten me outside of that comfort zone and helped me meet some amazing people. So forming people, whenever I connect with people, I add new friends. Like I tracking is very important. If you're not tracking, like that's going to break your business for sure. But I track new friends, and I will go back and I will, again, slowly, like Maegan said, this takes a long time for me. It does. Like if I add somebody as a new friend today, like I may not private message them for like a month. And even when I do that next month, it's probably not going to be an invite to a challenge group. It's going to be about something else. But I love to slowly build relationships with people. And so when I add a new friend on social media, I will write their name down, and I will usually set a reminder for myself, either through Streak or through Teamsy or something like that, whatever you use. For the longest time, I really just used pen and paper. And so, like, if I added Susie today on December 26th, I'm going to put a note in my calendar for next Tuesday to connect with her, to like some of her posts or something like that. And that's how I do it. When I add a new friend, I will, like I said, a week later, I might like some of her posts. Like, and seriously, that's it. Like, I might just like 2 or 3 posts. And then the next week after that, I'll like some more, and I'll comment on some of her posts. So, like I'll go through and I will genuinely like comment on someone's post, whether it's like a baby picture or an outfit picture or family pictures or vacation. Like I'll say something, genuinely say, oh, I love your outfit. Like, where did you get those pants? Or your family is beautiful. Or, right now is this easiest time. Like the holidays is the easiest time to form people, to build relationships. Go through and like everybody's Merry Christmas post, their family photo that they posted from Christmas, or their gifts. Like, go through tonight. I mean, like I said, I can spend a lot of time doing this. But just go through social media and you set a timer for yourself, because you will get caught up in just scrolling. But set a timer for yourself, 10, 15 minutes, and just go through and like and comment some people's posts, okay? And when you do that, they're like, okay, who's this chick, or why is she liking my post? And they're going to go and look at your social media feed, okay? And I have a lot of people connect and actually reach out to me before I even get to the invite process, because I do spend that time forming and just really building that relationship through social media. And so that is something, show interest in their life. And so like if I do go through that process, like I add a friend today, I'll comment and like on some of her posts a few weeks down the line. And then I will send a private message. Like, again, totally unrelated to Beachbody unless they reach out to me first. But I'll send a private message regarding something that's going on in their life. Again, stuff that interests me. Like, I love your dress that you wore to your Christmas party. Where did you find that? Or, like, I saw that you guys went on a Disney cruise. Did you like that? Like, was it something that was worth the money? I'll connect with people over things that I connect with genuinely in their life, and start a conversation that way. Again, when I send someone a private message, more than likely they're going to go to my page and see who I am and what I'm about, okay? And typically now at this point, these are people in my cold market, so they don't know me that well. So I'm building that level of trust. And so you have to be very careful. And this is where a lot of coaches get off track and they're like, I don't know how to turn the conversation into an invitation. And it is really, really very simple. I've already given that one example. And I just say, you know, hey, Laura, I know we were talking about that cruise and thank you so much for that information. But, you know, I'm working, I don't know if you know, I'm a health and fitness coach and I was working on my next accountability group. And your name just came to mind this morning when I was creating my event. I wanted to tell you, I sent you an invite to my January Made to Thrive boot camp. Do you have any health and fitness goals? Do you want to talk about that, or do you want to check it out or something like that? And typically people at that point trust me because I've not spammed them. I haven't like just cold invited them to anything. We've talked about our kids. We've talked about vacations. You know, we've built that relationship. And so turning it into an invitation doesn't feel icky. It doesn't feel salesy. And they kind of trust me. And again, you know, take the pressure off from the invite. Like, I don't feel like by that point, I feel like even if she says no, we've still formed a relationship and this is still someone that, you know, I could stay in contact with. And so it's very simple to me. Just, you know, start a relationship, build it a little bit, and then invite them to a challenge group. And I do find the invitations to event pages help me a whole lot. Do you guys have any questions about that? Or Megan, do you want to add to that?
No, but I can take it from here.
Okay.
Just as you guys are thinking about this, like think about how you want to move on from here. Like, do you think an event for your next group is going to be the way you want to do it? Are you going to do it on your like page or your personal page? You know, how are you going to start, you know, getting the word out for your January challenge group? Because, you know, again, it is, you know, it's January. People are interested and they're usually a little bit more interested in starting something new, maybe more so now than they were in the fall. But they also have to know that you're the one to go to. So if you're not like blasting it, and I almost say like you have to kind of annoyingly do it, because what we see or what you see of other coaches is not what the average Facebooker or Instagram person is going to see, because their feed isn't filled with people who are posting about health and fitness groups that are starting or anything like that. So I, like Rachel, like I'm constantly adding like my group link underneath my posts. Like I did it actually twice today. I did it on my workout post this morning and on a transformation post tonight. And this is what allows me to build my new contacts. So I kind of do it on a next day basis. So I usually like get my posts in for the day. And then one of the first things I do is I focus on new contacts in that next day. So I go through, and Instagram, I think it's easier to meet new people because a lot of the people on Instagram I don't know on a personal level. So I've been building my Instagram. That was one thing I started investing in when I first started coaching. So there's constantly new people there who I don't actually know. And one of the examples that I copy pasted up in the chat bar was when I posted someone else's transformation. You can use it when you do your own or whenever you do somebody else's. But I said, thanks for the love on my girl Brittany's transformation from the other night. I think this one was actually like a couple of days old by the time I sent it. These are the stories that make me remember this stuff works. I can't wait for my launch party. Are you interested in learning more? So like that simple question, like they're going to say yes, they're going to say no. And like you can throw in Rachel's, you know, language of saying, are you on a health and fitness journey too? Are you interested in getting started on a health and fitness journey? Like those are types of things that wherever their response is, like they might ignore you and that doesn't hurt. But most often nobody says no. They are probably going to say yes, or I should be. I usually get yes, I'm on, you know, I do something, or no, I need to be. And if they say no, or if they say yes, then I always, like a lot of times I will get like a straight, I mean, they don't know me. So they're like, yes, dot, like that's it. You know, some of them aren't willing to share much more than that, but that just allows me to say, well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing Orange Theory Fitness. Oh, I heard awesome things about that. How's your nutrition? So you can spin all those so many different ways, but you have to first make those contacts. So, you know, anyone who's liking your posts, who's going to your event, and the other ways that you can do it, that's the first way that you can build your contacts. Again, through the event, or whether you do a group, like I've been doing this for a couple months. We talked about this a little bit at the beginning before. I don't think we were recording yet, but I've been creating this group every time I launch a challenge group. Before I ever talk about my challenge group, the group is already created. So anytime somebody wants more information, instead of sending them to my blog with this lengthy explanation that they're probably not going to read, I send them a link to join my group. And that's where they're going to learn more about what I have in there. But once I get them in the group, like it's actually on my calendar for tomorrow, on my little notepad, is I'm going to post in that group about people to refer a friend. So I have my 80-day obsession group that I've had good results so far in that group. I'm going to ask everybody in there to add a friend who might want to try this, because they can try a little obsessed for free. You just need an account. So I'm going to say, think of some friends that you have. Like if you're loving a little obsessed, your friends can try it for free with us. Add them into this group. Here's the link. Send it to them or send them to me or whatever it may be. But that's just another way to create new contacts. And they might join your group or your event or send you a message or whatever it is. And they may not do anything. But those referrals, like I had a girl who she's just plain old not interested in coaching. She's the sweetest thing. She's like, I just have no interest. She's referred two awesome people to me who were like, they were honestly, she's like, my friend so-and-so wants to buy a challenge pack. She wants Beachbody on demand. I'm like, okay. And like, I sent them an email and they bought it. I was like, I really wish she would be a coach, but that's okay because I'll take the referral. She refers them to me because she likes the challenge group and she trusts me and we've built that relationship. So she refers it to other people. So don't underestimate the power of the referral. You know, it's kind of like the whole, when you talk to someone who's about coaching and says to you, I don't want to sell something. And you're like, you're not selling, you're sharing. It's the same thing. Ask your challengers at the end of the group or at the end of week 1, if you've loved what we've done so far in this group, share this with your friends, you know, do a referral gift, do a gift card, do a drawing, make it fun or somehow. But that's another way that I feel like is not always the way people think of building their contacts. But it can really be an easy way if people are loving your groups already. But just along with, you know, sending the messages, I feel like we've given a lot of, you know, I do a lot of what Rachel was saying just in the forming from the last section, but, you know, reaching out. I've had so many people who they'll like my like page and I send them a message. Thank you for liking my like page. Are you on a health and fitness journey too? And one girl's like, I am. I actually just started and I've probably liked 20 pages in the last week and not a single soul has ever reached out to me. She's like, thank you. She wasn't at all interested in Beachbody. She actually just wanted to follow my page, which is okay. She was so happy that somebody had actually messaged her who liked her page. Like just going back to being that person who cares, because she may not be interested in Beachbody, but when somebody says to her that I'm interested in doing Beachbody on demand, she's like, oh my gosh, I followed this girl. Check her out. Like those are the things that you can do that I feel like once you're in this business for a long time, you get to see them all unfold. You get to see those people who say, oh, I saw you here. My friend told me about this here. And in the beginning, it's hard to understand that. But if you stay consistent with all the things that we're talking about, those things will unfold and they will happen too. So creating those conversations is going to be key. Being able to just reach out to them, saying thank you for the like, for the comment, for the follow, for the share, whatever it is. And then, you know, trying to go from there. And, you know, I do leave out Beachbody until it comes to that conversation. I'm a health and fitness coach. I did something when I had my second child that completely changed my life. And I was surrounded with really awesome women. And I love the way it made me feel, not just the 3 pounds that I lost in the challenge group. It was a connection I made with the women who were in there and telling them that quick little, you know, why I do love my challenge groups is enough to get them to usually say like, okay, well, tell me more. You know, then I close it. You know, is this something that you think would be helpful in you reaching your health and fitness goals? You know, and getting comfortable talking about that stuff does come with time. But as you hear the things or you find that sentence or two that works, save it. Save down the stuff you see in the chat. I have the notes section on my computer is full of conversation things like this, these little messages. I remember Jen Guthrie did a recruiting call once. I copied like everything that she had written down. I'm like, this stuff is golden. You know, I always tell people I'm not the most creative coach, but I will implement. And when I hear something that's going to work for me, I'm going to take note and then I'm going to take action. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to do everything we're saying, but when something, if you think it's going to work, try it. And if it works for you, then save it and keep doing it and tweaking it until you find how it's going to work best for you. You want to go to the next slide, Rachel? In follow-ups, I feel like this too, we've kind of touched on a little bit, but with the holidays, I feel like this is the easiest way to follow up. I was doing that before our call started. The people who I have like that was mid conversation to on about December 20th, and then I haven't heard from them because it's been almost a week. It's been a crazy week. And I understand that. So I'm following back up with them saying, hey, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. If you want to take it one step further, go look at their page, comment on something that they shared about Christmas, because people who never post on social media probably posted something about Christmas. So you can use that as a way to follow back up with them and say, are you still interested in my 80-day obsession launch party? I haven't heard from you. I didn't see your order go through. I wasn't sure, if you, whatever it is, use this is like such an awesome time to do follow-ups. Most until this year with the 80-day obsession, all the other years, I don't hit Success Club in December until the week between Christmas and New Year's. Because most people, the first 3 weeks of December are really focused on getting gifts for everybody else except themselves. So use this now through your post of giving yourself the gift of health. I saw on my Time Hop, I had done a post on this day last year that said, did Santa forget to bring you something? You got everything you needed for everyone else, but did he forget to give you what matters most? And kind of went into like the whole gift of health concept. So that, like, your posts from now until New Year's Eve can be very strategically planned in a way that's going to talk to all the people who maybe they took this week off. A lot of people will take this week off of work. You can throw in your own little incentives. I know a lot of people did Black Friday incentives because it's an easy time to throw sales out there without being too salesy. Use it in your personal conversations to people. Like, I know this is a big time when people are, ready to start a health and fitness journey. I'm excited for you because I know how much this is going to change your life. I'm offering all my new customers who sign up between the 26th and the 31st, a water bottle or a new headband or a tank top or a $10 Amazon card or whatever it might be. But you can use that, especially if you have a group that you're sharing this stuff in. If you have an event that you're sharing this in, those are places where you can put that stuff because those people are already in there for a reason because they're interested. And if they haven't committed yet, that's one other way to follow up. That's not your typical like, hey, did you order yet? Or I didn't see your order go through. Any questions? Like those types of things, I feel like they can get old, especially if you've been following up with somebody repeatedly over several months. So, use the time of year. This is a time of year when most people are starting to think about making some sort of decision.
Hey, Maegan, I want to jump in there real fast.
Yeah.
So people are, I think you do too, but like I'm always an early first part of the month Success Club earner because I just kind of set that goal for myself. But one of the main things that I do is that like in follow-ups, like I have people, I think people watch us and they assume that like everybody just says yes to us. But like I have so many, the rule is that like 1 or 2 people out of 10 are going to sign up for your challenge group. And that's pretty much true for me. But since I'm consistently doing these things, adding friends, connecting, forming, and inviting people. Like I've always got a funnel of people to follow up with for my challenge group every single month. And like the way that I do it, like I don't ever, if somebody tells me no, that is not the end of our conversation. Like unless they just tell me to go away and unfriend me, which I don't think anybody's ever done. But like that's not the end. I always offer them something. If someone tells me no, they don't want to join my challenge group, I'm like, okay, if I can help you in any way, I want to, just let me know. Here's a blog post I wrote about this, or here are some of my favorite recipes, or here's a meal plan that I created in the past. Maybe that will help you get started. Like I always give people something no matter what, because I want them to know that I'm not just here to like sell them Shakeology, right? But one thing that I do is like I do still track with my paper calendar a little bit, but like at the beginning of every month, like if somebody tells me no this month, this is my January calendar, it's the new one. Like I have a list of people that I say, hey, like, well, maybe in the future or in January, can I follow up with you about a future challenge group? And most people say yes. I don't know if I've ever really had anybody tell me flat out no. So I write down the names of the people that I know really are interested in doing something for themselves. And like that's where I'll start. Like I'm already at Success Club, like 20 something. And I'm still inviting people and closing out those people who I know wanted to commit. But like, these are the people that will help me hit Success Club next month. Like I know it. they won't all sign up, but if 2 or 3 or 4 of them do, then boom, like, you know, like I'm at Success Club 5, then 10. And so like, don't be afraid to keep that conversation going if someone tells you no. Like Maegan said, you know, like I have people that I've been a coach for over 3 years. Like I've had people that have been watching me this whole time that are just now signing up. And so like, don't be afraid to follow up. You're not going to annoy people, and just ask them if you can follow up. And if they say no, then you don't. If they say yes, then that's like your future Success Club points.
Yeah, I agree. I actually use that. Like I put all my people in streak. And I'm not super strict with I'm not real good at like real-time streak, but I'll sit down. I get everybody into my Facebook group, and then I go through and I'm like, okay, who's in my group? And I put them in streak, who committed, and I kind of bucket them out. And then I'll do the same thing. Like, hey, my group's getting ready to start. I know that this wasn't your month, or this wasn't a good time for you, and you can kind of do it now. You can do it again January 14th before 80-day session starts. You can time it however. But I do the same thing. Can I follow up with you? And then I take all the people who say, yes, I can follow back up with them. I create my new box on Google Streak that says January or February, whatever it is, and I put their name there. That way, when it comes January 1st, I go to that group that I've already created. I'm like, okay, here it is. And I have so many people that have been in every free group. I have, I don't know, 50 some odd people on a whiteboard hanging on my wall. My husband was like, wow, are these all your new customers? I was like, oh, no, those are all the people who told me no. That I just keep their name up on this board. So if I get to a point where I'm like, okay, like, what do I do? Or I'm like, okay, I'll just look at these names. I just start sending messages. And same thing. How was your Christmas? Start with that. Don't follow up with them on, well, I didn't buy a challenge pack yet. Just start a conversation. And I get so many people who will say to me, thank you for never giving up on me. Thank you for the consistent follow-up. You know, like all those things. So while somebody might be like, okay, no, I'm not interested, like stop asking me, like maybe that'll happen. But when you go about it, like when you understand their goals, if they've already told you they wanted to fit into a bikini for their cruise, and you can say like, I know you're coming up on your cruise. How's it going? Like, are you ready for it? Like use all those things they tell you and let it go back to be about them. But the follow-ups are definitely where it's at. Like I had someone ask me, I spoke on a call, and the person said, so do you still have to publicly invite, or is it just or privately invite, or do you just do it all publicly? I was like, oh my gosh, no. I send so many messages, and I think that's what people don't understand. They think like, oh, well, it's easy for you. You have all these successful points, and you post. Like I say, post and message me. I might have nobody message me or nobody join a group, but I just keep on doing it. So don't ever think that it's easier for somebody else. It's probably that they're just sending a lot more messages. So just to wrap it up, we're coming up on an hour here, guys. When you get objections, take note of whatever they are. Don't stop it right there. Like I said, the girl who told me that her mom was going through chemo, I turned it away to help her mom. I had a girl who said to me, you know, the classic, well, it's just too expensive. And I was like, I have to look to find the text that I sent her, but I was like, you know what? It's not though. I'm like, it just depends on how you look at it. And this is your health, and you have 2 girls who need you. And I understand it's a lot of money to spend up front, but it's money well worth it. Like most things in life, you get what you pay for. And when I said, I broke it down, and she was like, you're right. And the girl's now a discount coach, just rock the ultimate reset. Like you just never know. But when you take somebody's question to you and say, you know, it's just too expensive, and you're like, okay, well, if you change your mind, I'll help you. They'll appreciate that. And if it really is too much for them, then, you know, let them know that you're happy to help them work through it. You're happy to share maybe you have some budget tips from your challenge groups or grocery shopping tips, share something else that they can take away. But you've got to combat those objections. And then if somebody asks you it, respond to them, but then make it a public post too, because chances are if one person's asking it to you or saying it to you, somebody else has that thing too. And we briefly mentioned tracking, like Rachel said, she uses her pen and paper, and I use Streak. Just track it. And I have a whiteboard too with all the names of other people. Like I have it in so many different ways, but I have so many people because I talk to so many people. I have so many more no's than yeses, which just gives me that much more of a base to start with every month that I'm starting a new challenge that I can invite. That I can invite to an event, that I can send a personal message to, that I can email, whatever it is. But you have to track them, because if I sat down right here and tried to tell you the last 10 people who told me no, I could never, because I just wouldn't think of names. But I can go back to my street and my tracking and figure that out. and then just keep going. Like, and I mean, Rachel and I have both been at this for a really long time. If you're new to it, it might be, harder to see yourself where we are now. But it's not we're not doing anything different than the things that you guys can all do. I had someone say to me, a classic, like, I need to know the fastest way to make X amount of money. And I'm like, then I can't help you. Cause like, you can't start with that. It's a really awesome outcome. But you can't start off with, what the money side of things. You have to just continuously prove to the people this works. The Shakeology works, the workout programs work, the Daily Sunshine for my kids work. It all works. You just have to keep talking about it.
And it really is it really is just a compound effect. And when you stop, you have to start all over. Like, you lose that momentum, and it really pays off to take 1 hour every single day and do these things that we're talking about. And like, people will trust you. People will follow you. Okay, so Michelle says, quick question, I might have missed it, but are either one of you hosting an end of the year sale? Also, I know you both post events, but do you ever run more than one event at a time? I think I'm doing creative at the year. I am not doing an end of the year sale, honestly, because I don't need to. If I needed to, I might, but I don't love sales. Like, I don't love sales except for like Black Friday or when Beachbody does their sales. Like, I just don't think they're necessary, because I think that takes away from the fact that it's already a super awesome deal. And if we can communicate that in our conversations, then, and I even put that in posts, like, I can talk about the fact that, Shakeology used to spend $6 or $7 on a breakfast every morning, and now my shake costs me like $4, So if you can communicate that through your posts and through your private conversations, I don't think sales are really necessary. But, if you need to do it to try to hit Success Club, like, follow up with everybody that you've talked to and say, hey, I'm giving away a book, or I'm giving away an Amazon card or something, to the people that join my group. And I really wanted you to be in that next group. Would you be interested in doing that? Signing up by the end of the month.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like, and I did have publicly talked about the Black Friday sale. So I just wouldn't publicly talk about it again. Cause like, I feel like when I think of other businesses, they do truly sell something. And I try to think that, like, we give people more of an experience than a sale of a product. Like, I had this whole conversation with someone who's a coach who quit the business, but they're still collecting, they're cycling and they're getting money. And I told my husband, I'm so mad. He's like, well, it's their business and they're sitting around doing nothing and collecting an income on it. Like, that's, for them, it'd be dumb to quit. I'm like, but that's not what we do. Like, we don't preach to people, like, get to Emerald, put some people under you, and then sit and collect cycle bonuses. Like, I don't believe that you should be able to make money if you're not helping these people. Like, I have, hey, I sold a challenge pack. Can my girl join your group? No, you shouldn't have sold a challenge pack because you're not committed to that. And it makes me so mad. And I feel like that's where we're different. Like, we aren't selling people a thing. We're not selling them whatever, makeup or leggings or hair, whatever. You're giving them a full experience.
Yeah, I agree. And I run multiple event pages. Like, right now I have my January 1st event, and then I have an 80-day obsession event. And it's really, like, I guess in the past it probably would have confused me, but they're so separate to me and they start on different dates. And I just invite to those events with different posts. Like, I am doing a little obsessed, so it's easy for me to talk about and invite to 80-day obsession. That's really important as a coach. Like, if you're not doing these things yourselves, then it's going to be really hard for you to invite and get people to sign up. And I know 80-day obsession is not going to be for everybody who's a coach, but you can talk about it. You can share transformations. Transformation Tuesday. If you have not shared a transformation yet, do it before you go to bed tonight. And if you're one of our coaches, like, I know that my coaches have access to my Facebook group for the A Little Obsessed preparation group. Put that link in there. It has questions. Before people enter, they have to answer these questions. They'll put your name in there if they saw your post, So put a link to, or create a Facebook group really fast. It's super simple. You don't even have to, like, doctor it up yet. Just create a Facebook group like Maegan was talking about for your January group. do your Transformation Tuesday, share your story, talk about your challenge group, and put the link to the Facebook group in there. Like, I'm amazed at how many people click that link and request to join. Like, it's amazing. And so, yeah, it doesn't really get that confusing. I usually just have one event a month, except for coaching. I do that too. But yes, that's what I do.
Yeah, and that's like on my to-do list for tomorrow is I'm going to make an event for my resolutions and the results, because I do want to capture people who aren't ready for 80-day obsession. So I've been all 80-day obsession. I had a very good launch. I actually will continue. I have an event that's boosted on my page that I will continue let run for now. And I will start probably on my Facebook page more publicly talking about resolutions into results, because I've been blasting 80-day obsession for 3 weeks now. And then on my stories, since I'm doing a little obsessed, I'll probably on Instagram talk more about my 80-day obsession, because it'll be easier. But I just will do both and see which one works. And if one's not working, I'll change it.
And I think too, and I know we're going over, but one of the things that I do for my challenge groups, and especially with the new year, is I really come up with a focus. What is my focus going to be in my health and fitness? And I've come up with this word thrive. Made to thrive, and becoming my best self. And I drip that through every single post that I make. And I'm just creating this thread of if you've heard the jab, 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 right hook. I'm talking about myself and my own health and fitness, and women will relate to your story. So don't be afraid to be you and where you're at, or talk to where you were at. I'm going to share my transformation post tonight, my first before picture from my first challenge group before I was a coach. And it's so hard for me to share every single time. I hate putting it out there, but I know that, that's going to help somebody. It's going to speak to somebody. So, just drip who you are, drip the focus of your challenge groups through your posts, and don't be afraid to invite people to them. Does anybody have questions before we go? If you need anything that we talked about or we didn't share, as far as invites or something, just let us know and we'll get them to you. But I do record it, so I'll share this with you guys too, and you can share it with your teams. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for showing up on December 26th.
Good night, ladies.
All right. Bye.